And that is one of the most frenetic interpretations of Tchaik 4 that you'll ever hear. Stokowski, Leopold Stokowski and the American Symphony Orchestra.
Well done, blazing.
Yeah, absolutely. He went to town. He had this massive accelerando and he put in all this extra percussion parts, and he just wanted to make it larger than life. He wanted to improve on Tchaikovsky, and he did it with such conviction that it works.
Tchaik would have quite liked it.
I'm sure he would have. And that's the story of Stokowski. He always overdid things. He gilded the lily. And
it sounded very big.
Oh, it was huge. Yeah, incredible.
Bigger than Big Frank.
Yeah, look, there's a great analysis of this online, and looking at his various interpretations of this, and it's unbelievable how he changes the score. And they've got an authentic version of the same piece, and it just sounds so lame in comparison. So he set a new standard, I think. Yeah, Mr. Stokowski. And of course, he was conducting well into his 90s, and he was someone with just this incredible vision, and he always was able to espouse it with great conviction. Marvellous stuff. All right, how are you, gentlemen?
Very well. I can't stay. I've got to go out at 5:30 and I'm getting ready.
Sure, understood.
I just thought I'd come on and say hello.
Look, thank you. It's nice to hear from you. And we had a big mission.
Good evening all.
Yeah.
It's 3OP.
Yes.
Come up and say hello, and hello Frank and hello Stephen.
Yeah, and nice to hear from you.
Also, Mr. W is listening and says you need to get 23 up and running.
Okay, right. Well, we'll have to get organised. Yes, the next level. And so, yeah, look, that's all good. And we had a very big missions last night.
Yes, I heard it in bed, some of it.
Ah, did you? Okay, yeah.
It was very good.
Oh, it was good fun. Yeah, it was a real romp.
All good, all good.
All that turbo folk.
Turbo folk, I know, I've never heard of it.
Oh, amazing stuff. All this Eastern
Really?
European.
Turbo folk.
Yeah, Eastern European mania. It was all divas, and yeah, it was high octane stuff from mostly from Eastern Europe. Yeah, so it was quite
very similar to like klezmer or zydeco.
Oh, it was much more sort of Eurovision style, upbeat.
Okay. Sort of more modern.
Yeah, very much so. Yes, EO was here last night, and Spencer. They were both at the helm, and they ran the show, and they did it with great authority. It was most excellent. So yeah, good to hear that. So there'll be more turbo folk, I think, in the future. So now I found an interesting 78 to kick off today. I didn't know I had any 78s of Sophie Tucker. They're pretty rare, and it's a bit knocked around, but it is an original, and it's her rendition of I'm the Last of the Red Hot Mamas. So if you're still listening there, Mr. JR, you'll be fascinated by the lyrics of this. They are really out there.
I will certainly be.
And this is music from 1926, I think this is recorded, but she penned her own lyrics, and she was on the frontier trying to instill a bit of social consciousness, especially about emancipating the role of women and all of that. So yeah, I'm the Last of the Red Hot Mamas is the name of the track. I'll put it through the filter because it's pretty knocked around, the 78. In fact, the label's almost unreadable, but it is what it is. It's about 1926. Let's have a listen. We can't have that. We've got to switch over to the turntable number 2.
Cheese, neckers, and jelly beans, lend me your ear. So you think you've been petted, don't be silly, forget it. Deb, flappers, and baby vamps bore me to tears. What do they know concerning love? Come to me for your burning love. 'Cause I'm the last of the red hot mamas. They've all cooled down but me. Flap of band, say what do they know? Come get your hot stuff from this volcano. I'm an overheater, try and beat it. Hot because they're Hottentot. Now it may be snowing, but when I get going, oh baby, I'm hot. You can keep your collegiate charm. Their loving isn't worth a dime. Away up in Alaska where the natives breathe, an Eskimo left my hut in his refugees. 'Cause I'm the last of the red hot mama. I'm getting hotter all the time. I don't want to brag, but in my hotel suite, A dozen firemen will overcome by heat. A Scotsman wants to marry me, the dear sweet soul. He thinks with me around he'll save a lot of coal. I met a movie star who's famous for his tag. I gave him one kiss and singed off his mustache. A funny thing happened, I nearly died. I sat down on an egg, got a sprite. I'm the last of the red hot mamas. They've all cooled down, but I don't pet and only neck 'em. No, sir, I'm a mama who loves to wreck 'em. I can make 'em sizzle, make 'em fry 'em frizzle. If you want to know the truth, I can warm the cold ones, give the old ones back their flaming youth. I was born in the hot Bahamas. Right now I'm in love and crime. Others pet and kiss and hug and don't know what it's all about. Say when I kiss them they feel they've had their tonsils taken out. 'Cause I'm the last of the red hot mamas. I'm getting hotter all the time.
Sophie Tucker back in 1920 Mumble and an early electric recording. Unbelievable lyrics. Like, come and get your hot stuff from this volcano. Oh, amazing stuff. And what else?
And the kiss we have her tongue cut out.
Yes, that's right. And the hotel suite, a dozen firemen were overcome by heat.
I sat down on an egg and it fried.
Yes, that's right. Fantastic lyrics. Amazing stuff from the mid-1920s. That's a gem, that record. There's probably much better copies of it on YouTube, but it's nice to play the original.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, through the hiss. But, yeah, good stuff. Well, the other little development is this morning I was dropping Olivia off at work, and there's a good op shop next door to the bakery where she works, and they've always got interesting vinyl, and it seems to be updated every week. And it's one of the few op shops where you can still get vinyl for $1 a piece. And so I went to town and I bought quite a few bits and pieces, so we might sample some of them, including a whole stack of early Ernie Sigley. Would you believe? So these are quite rare. They're W&G issues on 45s, and probably going back to late 1950s maybe, I don't know. It says here, Ernie Sigley with the orchestra arranged and conducted by Tom Davidson. And it says, meet the artist. And it's got a picture of a very young choir boy on the front, Mr. Sigley, as a kid. And it says, this is the first package disc released featuring the vocalist Ernie Sigley, the handsome young idol of thousands of Australian teenagers. And it says, Ernie already had several fine hit discs to his credit, the most outstanding being his best-selling performance of Love is a Golden Ring. We've lost your you might fit the thing. Yeah, just a bit of a nudge will get you in the right place. And
how's that?
Yeah, good. That's fine.
Ernie, that was his biggest hit, and John Laws recorded that also, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? So, yeah, Mr. Laws is still going strong. Poor old Ernie dropped off the perch
he's
recently. Yeah, well, I've got that too. There's a whole stack. Someone must have been an Ernie Sigley fan, because there's all these Ernie Sigley 45s. And including sort of boy soprano stuff, doing sort of semi-classical things.
Oh, that's amazing.
Which could be interesting.
That's very historic.
Yeah.
Rare, I would think.
I think they might be. So someone was pretty keen. Anyhow, I'll continue with this blurb. It says, Ernie Sigley was born in Footascray 20 years ago, and is the eldest of a family of 6 boys. He joined the radio station 3DB about 7 years ago as a turntable operator. So this would put this record about 1960 odd, I suppose. And with the encouragement of all associated with 3DB, Ernie enjoyed a rapid and successful rise as a singer. In 7 years, Ernie has graduated from turntables to become one of the most versatile personalities, and he now conducts 7 popular disc jockey shows each week in Victoria, and also a regular on the 3 weekly radio shows. On the television side, he has his own weekly show on HSV7 and appears regularly in Sunny Side Up on the same channel. And says Ernie also does performances in the Big Hit Parade on TV. Ernie Sigley began singing in 1949 when he joined the St Paul's Choir and later transferred to the Christchurch Choir. He was with the latter choir when they sang at the wedding of Jeanette Brooks, the daughter of the popular Governor of Victoria, Sir Dallas Brooks. Wow, that's terribly exciting. He's a keen sportsman, his interests in many sports, and he's the captain of the school footy and cricket teams. Oh, thank goodness for that. in September of this year. Ernie tends to try his luck overseas. He's got to have a crack at it. And
He went to Radio Luxembourg.
that's right. Yeah, I remember you telling me this. He did indeed, didn't he? He went over and did his big pirate stint.
I think he was pretty, he made it quite well over there.
Okay. Well, look, I mean, I might just play a couple of Ernie records since we've got them here. I know we had a bit of a feature on him when he popped recently, but I'm just happy to have some originals here. So here we have his Love is a Golden Ring. So we can put that on. It's a 45. Make sure I click in 45. We don't have him singing bass baritone. And I think that is ready to go. vk3sl testing.
Your love and mine, dear, it will shine, dear, just like the golden ring on your finger. Love isn't just for tonight, or two arms that hold me so tight. Love is a song that two must learn to sing. Love is a golden ring. Love's not a summer romance, or the kiss that follows the dance. Love is forever a very lasting thing. Love is a golden ring. The wedding in the church, the happiness and tears, the little ring you'll wear will last through all the years. And in our golden days we'll find eternal spring with love and the golden ring. So please, won't you wear it for me with faith and sweet charity? And for lonely lovers lost, this message I will bring. Love is a golden ring. Love is a golden ring. Love is a golden ring.
That was Mr. Sigley there on a W&G 45 record found this morning at the Orp shop. And orchestral accompaniment by Tom Davidson, probably the 3DB orchestra I expect, on a W&G, probably produced by Mr. Armstrong back then. Very likely, because he was working at 3DB at that time, and also for W&G. So, and another one is Breezing Along with the Breeze. There's quite a few, but I'll just play a couple more. And Breezing Along with the Breeze is the name of the track, and this is from another 45 featuring Mr. E. I'm just going to give this record a clean first. And they all look like they're in good condition. Oops.
Just breezing along with the breeze, trailing the rails and roaming the seas, like the birdies that sing in the trees, pleasing to live and living to please. The sky is the only roof I have over my head, and when I'm weary, Mother Nature makes me a bed. I'm just going along as I please, breezing along with the breeze. Just breezing along with the breeze, trailing the rails and roaming the seas, like the birdies that sing in the trees, pleasing to live and living to please. The sky is the only roof I have over my head, and when I'm Mother Nature makes me a bed. I'm just going along as I please, breezing along with the breeze.
Ernie Sigley and breezing along with the breeze, and that's from a 7-inch EP. There's another track, Saturday Girl. We will continue with that, I think. Now, I just remembered that W&G, at this point in time, were using a Roller 100 as their master recorder. I think that's the case. I think it's in the Dex Museum now. But a bit of Australian heritage in the recording process.
My Saturday girl, and the sun is sure to rise early and go down late, for he'll know I've a long time to wait. Each Sunday to Friday will seem to take ages to go, then it'll be my day, go like a moment or so. Be my Saturday girl, and it's all I'll ask of this world, till you share my life as my Sunday to Saturday wife. Each Sunday to Friday will seem to take ages to go, then it'll be my day, go like a moment or so. Be my Saturday girl, and it's all I'll ask of this world, till you share my life as my Sunday to Saturday, Sunday to Saturday wife, my Sunday to Saturday wife.
Ernie Sigley with Tom Davidson and the orchestra. Tom Davidson of 3DB fame there on the W&G 45, picked up this morning. So we might sample one more Mr. Sig and then feature the others at another time. A later recording is his another big hit for him, which was with Denise Drysdale, Hey Paula, and that was released on Festival in the early 1970s, I think.
Our version.
Yeah.
Originally done by Jill Jackson and someone.
Oh, really? Okay.
American.
Oh, very
62.
good. And then that's great to hear. All right.
I'm going to sort of sign up, but I'll continue to listen till I go.
Yeah, okay. No worries, Frank.
So
It's
thank
great to hear from you.
And, should be right for tomorrow night.
Fine. No worries at all. Look forward to it. Yeah,
Take
great.
care.
Thank you. Cheers. Have a great evening.
Frank. Cheers, Steve.
Okay, thank you. All right. Well, let's hear Ernie Sigley and Denise Drysdale. Denise is still going strong. Denise of Spicks and Specks fame. That's where we seen her more recently. And I'm just cleaning the record as I speak. And their take in of Hey Paula.
Hey, 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 Paula, I wanna marry you. Hey, hey, Paula, no one else could ever do. I've waited so long for school to be through. Paula, I can't wait no more for you. My love, my love.
Hey, hey, Paul, I've been waiting for you. Hey, hey, Paul, I want to marry you too. If you love me true, if you love me sweet, our love will always be real. My love, my love.
True love means planning a life for two.
Being together the whole day through. True love means waiting and hoping that soon
Wishes we've made will come true.
my love, my love.
Hey, hey, Paula, I've been waiting for you.
Hey, Paul, I want to marry you too. True love means planning a life for two.
Being together the whole day through.
True love means waiting and hoping that soon wishes we've made will come true. My love, my love.
Ernie Sieg and Denise Drysdale on Festival 45 from 1974, I think, 74, thereabouts. And there's quite a stash here of Ernie Sigley records, which we'll need to sample in due course. And there's even one here of Charles Skase. Now, we all know the saga of Christopher Skase, but Christopher's dad, Mr. Charles, was a Sun Aria winner in the late 1940s and had a strong presence on 3DB as well, I think. And this is also on a W&G. I'll play a bit. It'll be a bit soporific because he sort of was more of a tenor, but it's those sort of religious songs. That's not so exciting. Let's see, maybe Beyond the Sunset. We'll give this one a go. We'll fade it in, and the interesting thing on this one, this recording of Charles Skase, is that it is the ensemble's directed by William Flynn and musical direction Tom Davison, both of 3DB fame, and technical recording direction is none other than Bill Armstrong. So yes, he was he went from 3DB to W&G, and so that's the story there. But Charles Skase, let's have a listen to Mr. Skase Senior, and a recording from 1950, Mumble.
Beyond the sunset, oh blissful morning, when with our Savior heaven is begun, earth's toiling ended, oh glorious dawning, beyond the Father whom I adore. His glorious presence, His word of welcome will be my portion on that fair shore. Beyond the sunset, oh glad reunion with our dear loved ones who've gone before. In that fair homeland, we'll know no parting. Beyond the sunset, forevermore. Beyond the sunset, forevermore.
Yeah, now I know why Christopher ran off to Majorca. That was Charles Scase, and so from a 45, WNG 45, called Sings by Request. Probably not my request. That was a little, well, you know, it is what it is. He was a scenario winner, and he sang parlour hits, but not entirely suitable for these missions. But never mind, it's a historical item, and it's here. So, Charles Scase. So, and it seemed to have something sort of wowish about that. I'm not sure if it's the SP10 or maybe the Roller 100. It wasn't partial to the experience. I don't know. Who can knows? Anyhow, there was quite a bit of Australian stuff. There was some Nicky and Graham in the pile too, and I left that record in the shop because I thought I had it here, but I don't think I do. So I'll have to go back and get the that one as well. Some Chatterbox Corner. And other material from the stash I picked up this morning includes Tony Motola, Superstar Guitar, it says. It's one of these albums that opens up with lots of information, which I won't bother to read. It's American, but Mr. OP might have some comments on this. But it's sort of early 70s sort of glam guitar, really. It's on a Project Total Sound Quadraphonic LP. But of course, we won't get that full experience. We'll hear it in mono. Here we go, 1972. Superstar Guitar, Tony Motola. Just sort of sounded and looked quirky, so I picked it up for $1 this morning. Let's have a listen to Mr. Tone. This is vk3sl testing. have a confession to make, and that is that record was played at 45 and it is a 33. So I actually sound quite good at that speed. Let's just get a sample of it at its correct pitch. I'll just play a little of the same track so you get the full experience. That does it. Tony Mottola, Superstar Guitars, the name of the album, and we're just sampling a small stash of records picked up this morning. Now there's another track on this, and which I'd like to play, I'd like to sample. By the time I get to Phoenix, someone might like to remind me who originally recorded that. It's very familiar, but we'll hear Mr. Mottola's version. vk3sl, testing. Sounds of the 70s, recording from 1972, Tony Mottola and his Superstar Guitar. Mostly covers, but it gets a double album here, a double flap with lots of information, and it was all produced by Mr. Enoch Light in full quadraphonic glory. A project total sound recording. Well, out of the batch, there's a few others which we can look at. Let's see. Here we have Instrumental Safari by the Studio 77 Orchestra. Has that got anything to do with Bayer and Roller 77s? Probably not. It's an EMS release, a bronze label. Bring it out of the bag, and what took my attention with this record is that it features two of Bert Kaempfert's big hits, Swingin' Safari and Afrikaan Beat. I'd like to hear the way he does these songs. So, who exactly is it? This says the Studio 77 Orchestra. Could be Mr. Kaempfert. Who knows? Anyhow, we'll have a listen and hear. I always associate these songs with that very percussive bass line that Bert Kaempfert pioneered, but he may have a different concept. So, we'll kick off with Swinging Safari. I'll just need to give the record a clean. And while doing so, I'll remind you that this is vk3sl. These are test missions on 160 and on UHF, and simultaneously streaming online. Of course, the online presence is important from the point of view of the go-to space for being entertained. No entertainment on the amateur airwaves, it's purely a test pursuit. Alright, let's have a listen. Swinging Safari, the Studio 77 Orchestra. They sort of preserve the flavour of Kaempfert, but without the edge, that percussive edge. Sounds like the same arrangement though, and it's the Studio 77 Orchestra on an Australian EMS record made in Adelaide in the early 70s, late 60s maybe, and it's sort of a budget label really. I was looking it up on Discogs, but I couldn't find any further information. It just says the Studio 77 Orchestra, Instrumental Safari. That's the name of the album, but we'll have a listen to Afrikaan Beat, which is the first track on side 2. So I'm going to flip the disc and We'll check this one out. We'll hear what he does. Whoever it is. Maybe it's the Adelaide Orchestra. Maybe it's the ABC Show Band. Who knows? This is vk3sl. Testing on 160 UHF and streaming online. That was the Studio 77 Orchestra. Instrumental Safari is the name of the album. And we are sampling records found in the AWP shop this morning. Light Music Classics. This one in dynamic stereo, although we can only listen to it on mono on these airs. We'll do stereo tests again at some point. Now, that was Afrikaan Beat. Afrikaan Beat. Very distilled, watered down version. I like to hear the original with Bert Camford himself. Here's a live performance, a studio performance in front of a live audience from 1960 Mumble. original recording of Bert Camfort, African Beat off the Tube, and we play that in contrast to the Studio 77 Orchestra on EMS. We'll continue riffing through the pile, and next one is the music of a Will Glare, accordion with rhythm. Now, this is a name that's only become apparent to me in recent times since doing lockdown missions. I found quite a few 78s of Will Glare as a very young person in the 30s and 40s. We played them and enjoyed them, the sound of the accordion. But Mr. Glare continued to make records right up until the 1970s, and this is an example. It's called Dancing Fingers, 14 famous polkas and waltzes, William Glare and the accordion with rhythm. So, say no more. This is Glam City, so let's have a sample. vk3sl. That was William Glare, accordion with a rhythm. And I don't know what that track was. Number 1 on side 1, Rosamunda says. Was that really Rosamunda? Or was it the Leichsteiner polka? We'll do a check. We'll find out. We'll do a sample of this in... Yeah, it was Rosamunda. We'll do a sample and find selections from this which might suit the purpose of our light music offerings now. I was going to look up Will Glare, but I can't because the tablet I've got in front of me has someone in my fam has configured it for Chinese or Japanese. I don't know. It just comes up with characters whenever I type anything. And I think it might be a bad practical joke. So there we have it. We'll just leave it at that. We'll underscore Will Glare, accordion, and we'll come back and listen to more of him another time. Another record from the pile is Mantovani Film Encores, a Decca release from the 50s. This will be good. It'll be soupy strings. Maybe there is an upbeat track. Don't know. It'll be really out there, folks. This is just sheen, veneer, high gloss. My Foolish Heart. Usually track 1 is the one to where they're trying to impress. So we'll go with that. Fingers crossed. And Mantovani and his orchestra. This will inspire people to get out their spackle filler and paint stripper, perhaps. Mantovani and his orchestra. vk3sl testing. Is it ready? It's being slow. Here we are. Proverbial mudslide. The music of Mantovani Soupy strings, in excess, cascading chorus effects, it's all there, and it was the sound of the era, and that's what prompted me to get that record, but I can almost not bear it. Well, sort of can, but you know what I mean. There's some very interesting examples of Mantovani when he was a soloist, when he did other things before he sort of inhabited that space. Here's a Pathé newsreel from 1937. I think it... From a Pathé newsreel from 1937, Mantovani, in an earlier phase of his career, doing some pretty hot stuff there, and dynamic music from an earlier time before he decided to become soporific. Now, well, this record is also in danger of being a bit soporific, but we'll give it a whirl. It's another Capitol. And this one is from the same era, mid-1950s. We're unpacking it as we speak, and it's Velvet Carpet, says. And George Shearing Quintet with string choir. Okay, so it's got a very nice image of a woman in recline on the cover. Chandeliers, and looks like the Rats have had a chew at the cover of this record. Never the mind. What shall we hear? September Song. I wonder if there's any of these are upbeat. You can tell I haven't tested these. Have You Met Miss Jones? Shall we give that a try? Side B, track 1. Velvet Carpet is the name of the album. I'm vk3sl, and we're testing here on 160 UHF and streaming online. In the groove and on air. vk3sl. few selections from the George Shearing Quintet with string choir. The name of the album is Velvet Carpet, so I had to play a few tracks in succession there. It was called out for a few minutes, and it's a Capital 12-inch LP. We're sort of sampling newfound discs today, records that have been discovered in the last little while, mostly this morning, at a local op shop. It's great to find this sort of light music material, which is not that sought after, so it can be had very cheaply and very easily, and it makes perfect missions fodder, I think. So we'll continue, and we have here Xavier Cougar playing Continental Hits, and this is one of these perfect present sound high fidelity records, originally recorded on 35mm magnetic tape on film, magnetic film. Mercury release, F35D says. Mercury Records. This is another of these albums where they explain the microphones used and a diagram of the control room in relation to where the instrumentalists are positioned with their mics. Gives us a bit of a blurb. It says here, hi-fi information, hi-fi-mation. This album was recorded stereophonically and monerally at Fine Recording Studios in New York City with Bob at the engineering controls. Say no more. Studio set up for instruments and microphones on the left were 5 woodwinds, Telefunken U47 microphonic, bass guitar RCA 77D. I've got one looking at me right here. Xylophone and bells, Telefunken U47, another classic Neumann mic. I think they're Telefunken and Neumann are one and the same in this instance. Congas AKG and timbales AKG on the right were 5 trumpets RCA 77Ds, 4 trombones RCA 77D, guitar again same mic, marimba, Telefunken U47s, bongos and tambourine again U47s, scratcher, shake and triangle, more U47s in abundance. And the album was recorded on Westrix 1552 35mm film at 90 feet per minute. And that's a little blurb from Hal Mooney, from the Mercury recording director. Background, we won't hear it in stereo, but we'll hear a selection in glorious mono. So let's find the track. What shall we listen to? Xavier Cougar, Suku Suku sounds good to me, and we'll run with this, I think. So on the platter, might just have to give this a clean. And I think we're ready to go. vk3sl testing. Skies and Spacious sounds from Xavier Cougar. I reckon we'll hear another track. vk3sl. Music of Xavier Cougar and his Continental Players. Off a Perfect Present Sound Mercury release from the 50s, late 50s, early 60s. And they give us a lot of information about the technical side of things here. But I think I've read this out before in relation to another record from the series, so I won't bore you with the extra details. But I think we'll follow on with one more track and then we'll see. We've got something a bit interesting to play after that. I'm just getting it sorted now, so stand on by. Xavier Cugat in Perfect Presence Sound, High Fidelity LP from the 1950s, early 60s, recorded on 35mm film. Well, folks, I'm going to have to wind. I'm being spaghettified. I've got to go inside and help with the dins. But I will play something while I'm doing that. And this is a cassette. Now, I've got a cassette player set up here presently because last night, for our late night missions, we played quite a few turbo folk hits on cassette. So I brought out the trusty TC158SD Sony machine, sort of a Sony version of the Super Scope. Quite a good machine, but one of the belts is gone, but it sort of works okay. Two nice big VU meters on the front. So we sort of put it into the system. So I will keep it in place, and what we have here is a tape from the National Film and Sound Archive in 1986. That's when I got this. It says, "On Air, excerpts from the heyday of Australian radio." That's what it's entitled, so we don't know exactly what's on it, but we'll play it for the next half an hour or so. And what am I going to do about idents? I'll sort something out in the midst of things. So, yeah, we'll follow through with this, and thanking you for listening in, and we should be right tomorrow. I think tomorrow's okay, but the rest of the week will be, we won't be doing this until next Friday. But there'll be plenty of other excellent offerings to be had, I'm sure. All right, thank you again, and we'll say cheers, vk3sl, and we'll now continue with the cassette on air.
That's the fella. Ah, just look at him, Mabel. He knows there's a race on today, you know, he knows. Don't you, Kingpin?
Oh, there's no doubt about it, Father. He is looking fit.
He ought to look fit for the amount of training I've put in on him. Poor old Kingpin. I hope he takes the race, because in the ordinary way of things, he can't be entering for too many more Snake Gully Cups. He's getting on, you know, Mabel.
Yes. It seems a shame that beautiful racehorses have to grow old, doesn't it?
Oh, well, I suppose they've all got to face up to it, but Kingpin's as good as any of them for all that, Mabel. Yes, and better.
Father, do you really think he'll win?
I think so, Mabel. I'm a bit scared of Joe Brandt's horse, Royal Fortune. But I think Kingpin can take it from him. Yes, I think he can.
The starter has called the horses into line for the running of the Snake Gully Cup. The first to move in is Stormy Weather and Royal Fortune, then Wings, Kingpin, next to him Wally's Hope and Pretty Claire with Good Morning and Caponica, and Gay Pride standing well behind the other horses.
I say, look everybody. That's not Uncle Clarence on Stormy Weather.
Why, cripes now. Who is it?
Oh, that isn't Mr. Hopkins. Oh, I wonder what's happened.
Your attention, please. A note has just been handed into the box. Mr. Clarence Thompson, who was to have ridden his horse Stormy Weather, has taken a bad turn, and Stormy Weather is now being ridden by Buddy Walters of the United States Army.
Well, what do you know about that? Starve the lizards.
Buddy Walters riding him.
Buddy riding him. Buddy, good gracious.
Gay Pride looks likely to hold the start up as he's backing right away from the other horses. The clerk of the course is going after him to lead him up to the barrier. Oh, what's this? Oh, Stormy Weather gives a bound and almost unseats his rider. And now with a series of pig roots, he goes to the outside, but his rider sticks to him, and so one of the starter's attendants takes charge of him and leads him up to the start. Now they're lining up fairly well, with Gay Pride being held on the outside now by the clerk of the course. Kingpin is the only one out of line. Now he's straightening up, and here's a chance. Yes, and they're off. Oh, Gay Pride swings away and loses at least 10 lengths. Stormy Weather might get up. Yes, Stormy Weather goes on and wins. He just wins from Royal Fortune with Pretty Claire third. Yes, Stormy Weather wins the 1942 Snake Gully Cup.
Oh, Stormy Weather.
Stormy Weather. Well, starve the lizards. The circus horse wins the cup.
Oh.
Now, wait a minute. Let's get this straight, Liz. You say you got a Dina to bet me with?
Yes, Alfred. Real silly Billy I am to go throwing away a shilling like this. Oh, but there it is. It's the gambling blood in me, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, what's this bet going to be all about, eh?
Well, you says you were there, don't you?
Here? What, where I am now, sitting in this here chair?
Yes, you says you were there, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to bet you a shilling that I can prove to you that you ain't there.
Oh, yeah.
By logic. Will you bet?
Yeah. You mean you're going to prove to my satisfaction that I ain't here?
Yes.
That I'm somewhere else?
Yes. Now, there's my shilling on the table, then. You put yours down beside it.
Right. There it is. There she goes. Now, you prove to me that I ain't here.
Yeah, well, now, answer me this, Alfred. Is you in New Guinea?
No, I ain't. I'm here.
Oh, is you in America?
No.
Is you in France?
No. Wish I was, though, in Paris.
Oh, well, then, you ain't in New Guinea, you ain't in America, and you ain't in France. You ain't in none of them places.
No.
Well, then, you must be somewhere else, then.
I ain't in none of them places, anyhow.
No, so you must be somewhere else. And if you are somewhere else, then you ain't here, see?
Hey, Dad! Where are you, Dad?
Here I am,
Hey, Dad! Hey, Dad! What do you think?
What?
We've had burglars here tonight.
Burglars? You mean somebody sneaked in, ratted me kick, and sneaked out again?
Yes, Dad. They barged in, burgled your boodle, and buzzed off again.
What'd they take, Harry?
Your silver trophy, Dad.
You mean that lovely cycling cup I won for rowing?
Cycling? No, Dad, you row a boat.
Not me, Harry. I rode a bicycle. And to think only last week I bought a burglar alarm. I might have known it wouldn't work.
Where is the burglar alarm, Dad?
Wrapped up in this parcel in my overcoat pocket.
No, Dad, you're supposed to fix them on a door or a window, and then they ring.
Right me lucky. What will they think of next?
There's one clue, though, Dad.
What's that?
I found fingerprints all over my money box.
Whose?
Yours.
Harry, come back.
Hello, Moe.
Oh, blimey, it's Honourable Herbie. Honourable?
Yeah?
I've had burglars in the house tonight.
Burglars, eh?
Yeah.
Who robbed who?
Oh, very witty. Very witty. I'll drop, Honourable. He's just an end warp. Nothing but an end warp.
Well, what's an end warp?
A backward prawn.
Yeah? Maybe Uncle Horrible will install a burglar alarm for you.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll take it and fix it on the front window.
And don't think it, Honourable. Just set it with a bit of cheese.
Cheese on a burglar alarm?
Yeah.
What would that smell like?
Little me, big man.
Oh, it's Spencer. Come in, Spencer, dear, but stand away from the pork.
Why, Mr. McSee?
It's like you, it's a bit off. Oh, phew! It's Mr. Lashworth. What do you think, Lasho? I was robbed by burglars last night.
Did you find fingerprints on the drawing room window?
No. I found footprints on the dining room ceiling.
vk3sl testing.
presenting Chapter 2139 of When a Girl Marries, dedicated to those who are in love and to all those who can remember.
We bring you radio's great story of adult love, the story of Dr. Paul. Now our story continues. Johnny Cabot picked up the glass from which Raymond Vasey had been drinking, took it out to the kitchen of the apartment, and rinsed it out. Returning to the lounge room, he straightened the rug, picked up the books that had been sent flying when he knocked Raymond Vasey down. Remembering the punch he'd landed on Carlotta's ex-manager's jaw, Johnny flexed his fingers, rubbed the back of his hand. It had been a darn silly thing to do. He was a doctor. His hands were precious.
Mrs. Kaiser? Mrs. Kaiser? She's gone.
Don't cry, Una, don't cry.
Our Father, which art in heaven, have mercy on this troubled soul, and bring her to eternal rest with thee.
She always said she never wanted to live even a day after she'd been able to kill the virus. It was like a prayer with her.
I know, Una. Mrs. Manning?
What is it, Neil?
Do you think I can become a lawyer?
As great a lawyer as your mother was a scientist.
Oh, Neil.
You are going to marry me, aren't you?
I've taken that for granted, Neil. I think your mother had too. Oh, Neil, if only she could have lived just a little while longer.
She gave you a life you can both live without fear. She also gave the world a release from death. She may have done wrong, but the good far outweighed the evil.
Well, there's so much to talk about, Una.
I still feel as though she were with us.
Well, Portia?
I feel as though we'd lived 1,000 years, Christopher.
That isn't what I meant.
I know.
We have a life to live too, Portia.
Tarzan, King of the Apes.
When Tarzan left them at the hut, Jane and Esmeralda felt lonely and frightened. Now all their menfolk had disappeared into the jungle, the strange ape man too. Hoping that he would quickly return with her father and his friends, Jane looked about the hut and wondered about Tarzan. The hut was his, so there was obviously some connection between him and the 3 gruesome skeletons that were lying there. Jane didn't know that 20 years before there had been a mutiny on a ship off this coast, and that Lord and Lady Greystoke had been put ashore on just this spot. She didn't guess that an English noblewoman had stared fearfully into this same jungle and wondered about the future, for herself and for her unborn child. But Jane's thoughts about the past were disturbed by a huge lioness padding around outside. When the door held against it, the 2 women thought they were safe. But then it stood on its hind legs and pushed against the wooden bars of the window. The bars gave, and the great sleek head forced its way in. For a second, Jane and Esmeralda cling to each other in terror. Then Jane sees an old rifle standing against the wall.
Stay here, Esmeralda. You'll be safe for a moment. Oh, Esmeralda. Oh, she's fainted. Oh, it's squeezing through. The rifle. No!
Who are you?
I, Tarzan.
My name is Cecil Clayton.
I wish there was some way I could express my gratitude to you. That's twice you've helped us now.
Not understand.
On the beach, with the sailors, you stopped that man from shooting Miss Porter. Now this.
Jane, Tarzan, help Jane.
Jane? Yes, you saved her on the beach.
In jungle. Tarzan kill turquoise.
But Jane isn't in the jungle. I left her at the hut when I came to look for Professor Porter and Mr. Philander. Tarzan, is she safe? What the blazes?
Hut, come from hut.
But they didn't have a rifle.
We help. Come.
It's a lion. It's climbing through the window.
Sabre. Tarzan kill.
Don't be a fool, man. Tarzan, come back. Jane, are you safe?
Oh, Cecil! The lion!
It's all right. I'm clear of it. Open the door. There's only somewhere to help him.
Cecil, where is it? This horrible brute. Tarzan!
He's fighting it with his knife. He leapt at it and dragged it back from the window. Now he's trying to get his knife into position.
Oh, he'll be killed! Oh, Cecil, we've got to help him.
There's nothing we can do. Look, he's twisting the front leg up, trying to reach under it with his knife.
Oh, there's an axe inside. I'll get it.
Where? Show me. I'll try anything.
There against the wall. Oh, quickly, Cecil.
I've got it. Now!
Oh, it stopped.
What the blazes?
Tarzan.
And now, Superman. Amazing figure in blue costume and red cape who has appeared on Earth as champion of the weak and the oppressed. A strange and menacing voice has been breaking in on nationwide radio programs, threatening grave disasters. Following the first threat, the giant Jupiter transport plane, one of the largest in the world, crashed during a test flight, and its pilot was found dead in the wreckage, his skin a bright green. While baffled scientists hunted vainly for an explanation, the voice spoke again, predicting another major catastrophe. That midnight, in the engine cab of an express train going south from Metropolis, the fireman was horrified to suddenly see his engine driver's face and hands begin to turn green. And then deliberately, like a man gone mad, the engine driver raced through stop signals toward a head-on collision with an approaching goods train.
To get out of these clothes. But where? That alley, I suppose. It's dark enough. Here we are. It's getting tougher and tougher ducking away from Jimmy when there's a job to be done. As Superman. But I must get to that train wreck, and fast. Yeah. Now, up and away!
Those famous Lever products, Rinso and Lux Toilet Soap, present Australia's Amateur Hour, program number 724, a full hour with the amateurs of Australia, relayed over a nationwide network of 54 stations, and to our armed forces in the Pacific and the world through Radio Australia. And here's the director of Australia's Amateur Hour, Mr. Terry Deer.
Thank you, John Tuttle, and how do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Tonight marks our last appearance at our Sydney headquarters for some weeks. We now start on our first big tour for 1955, which includes broadcasts from the Victorian cities of Shepparton and Hamilton, and from South Melbourne, Preston, Prahran, and Hawthorn town halls in Melbourne. This is number one on Australia's Amateur Hour from Sydney tonight. It's Katoomba Spoons player Charles Edwards with a bracket of old favorites for you. start with the show. And an act that's polished just as well as those spoons are. Very good. Plays them everywhere. Up and down his legs, back of his head, soles of his shoes, everywhere. Very bright and entertaining act indeed. Charles Edwards, spoons player from Katoomba, was number 1 on Australia's Amateur Hour tonight, broadcast from the 2GB Auditorium in Sydney. From Canada comes impressionist Ken Hardy. He's number 5.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give you a few impersonations of well-known film stars that I'm sure you're going to recognize as soon as I tell you their names. Now, first of all, I'd like to give you that character who can take a shower without getting his feet wet, Jimmy Durante. Here he is.
Lock the doors, nobody leaves. Coming here tonight, I was driving my brand new Chevrolet when I happened to drive between 2 trams. Anybody in the audience like to buy a tall, thin Chevrolet? I got a million.
Now we have someone else I'm going to introduce to you, Percy Kilbride, otherwise known as Pa Kettle. Here he is. Howdy, friends and neighbors. I'm mighty glad to be here. First time I've been out alone since I got married. Never forget the day I got married. Preacher looked me in the eye. He said, "You take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife?" I said, "Would you?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, there's no need to push her off onto me then." Now I'd like to introduce to you a top-line Hollywood star, none other than James Stewart. Here he is. Well, my name's James Stewart, and I really am glad to be here tonight, folks. Fact is, I'm pretty lucky. Because last night I was out with Marilyn Monroe in my new car. Well, we went down by the river there, and we were watching the moon come up, when a policeman came over and shone his torch in through the window. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Officer, I'm not doing a thing, not a thing." "Well, how about you getting out and holding the torch?" Thank you, James Stewart. Now let me see, who have we now? That screen's great lover, Charles Boyer.
Hey, darling, come with me to the Casbah.
Oh, Charlie, what can we do in the Casbah?
We can sit on the balcony.
But what are we going to do on the balcony?
Spit like everyone else.
Thank you, Charles Boyer. Now I'd like to give you my impression of a top-line Hollywood star, Danny Kaye. Here he is. I should like to sing for you one of my favorite little numbers. It goes something like this. Hey, to get the rappers out of the get the out of the cover, say hello to get the drum, to get the drum. Hey, to get the rappers out of the get the out of the cover, say.
Is number 6 on Australia's Amateur Hour, Robert Kelleher, plays a couple of old favourites on the gum leaf. Beat on the introduction there, if you would. So those 2 front teeth are getting in the way. Bob Kelleher, a trier. Unfortunately, the gum leaf split, and that doesn't help in presenting a gum leaf routine, but he's a good trier just the same. Robert Kelleher was the artist. He was number 6 on Australia's Amateur R.
I think that's it, folks. That's this. It's a tape called On Air, excerpts from the heyday of Australian radio from the National Film and Sound Archive in 1986. This is vk3sl, thanking you for listening in, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers for now.